Hello folks, good morning. So in this recording I'll show you guys how I use higher time frame breaker to execute on lower time frame. Okay, so this will be another theory that we'll discuss in our coming lecture days, but today I'll just show you guys a hint of how I use higher time frame breaker and how I execute by using a higher time frame breaker on lower time frame, specifically on 1 minute and 3 minute chart. So as you guys can see, I'm showing you guys a chart from hourly on Dow, and we have a lower low here and then a new lower low right here. So price went below this low, did a stop hunt, and then retraced higher. These up close candle, all of this becomes our breaker. But when we are outlining a higher time frame breaker, we are not gonna be outlining all of it. Okay, our best reaction from a breaker will happen from the last up close candle in a bullish breaker, in a bullish scenario. Okay, so when we are looking at higher time frame breaker, we'll wait for price to go inside the breaker that we have the last bullish candle and close the candle's body above. Okay, just like it did here, and we'll only mark this one because we are looking at higher time frame, so the fluctuations that you will see, it will happen very less. But as we are trading on lower time frame, once we draw down to lower time frame, drop down to lower time frame, you guys will see how I use the movements, because on lower time frame we expect a lot more movements, a lot more retracement than higher time frame. So as I told you guys, on higher time frame we'll only be focusing inside this last up close candle, and once price closes a candle's body above the last up close candle on higher time frame, that's the time when we will drop down to the lower time frame and see what's happening there. So on higher time frame, if we see a breaker, we'll wait for price to close a candle's body above, and then we will drop down to 3 or 1 minute and look for another breaker forming inside our macros. Okay, so you can see here the price close a candle's body above. Once I drop down to the lower time frame, you guys will see the price forming another breaker inside this breaker on lower time frame. Okay, that's how it works. I'm not teaching you to execute on higher time frame. I'm teaching you how to scale on lower time frame using higher time frame PTRA. So we are not executing on higher time frame in this breaker, okay? But we'll be executing on lower time frame using the logic from this breaker. Now we know that our bias is bullish. Price closed the candle's body above this breaker. That means what? Price activated this breaker. Now we are on 1 minute chart on Dow, and as you guys can see, price closed the candle's body above on higher time frame, right? And this blue shaded box is our higher time frame breaker, and price is trading above it right now. But we'll be looking inside this breaker to find a breaker. Okay, inside this higher time frame breaker to find a breaker on lower time frame. So first we will mark from where price can possibly reverse. Okay, so the best place for price to reverse is after taking out relative equal lows. That's what I basically focus when I'm trading with breaker. Either I'm targeting the relative equal high or lows, or I'm waiting for price to clear out a relative equal high and low, then possibly generate a breaker. So do you guys see any relative equal lows down here? We know that from higher time frame our bias is bullish, so we'll be looking for a bullish breaker to form. Look at these lows here. What are these lows? These are relative equal lows. Okay, price didn't go below this low, so we don't have any breaker here. Price is trading off mitigation blocks and order blocks here. Then we have trend line liquidity right here. If you put a trend line here, it will very beautifully respect it. Then here at this low we have relative equal lows down here. Okay, once we drop down to lower time frame, we'll identify the best place for price to reverse. Your best liquidity is relative equal high and low for market to reverse. So at first we will identify on lower time frame if we see any equal low and equal high. Okay, so how we will spot it? We'll spot it based on the higher time frame order flow. From the higher time frame order flow, we know the price to close the candle's body above the hourly breaker. So we know that our bias is bullish, and we have a short-term target here, like higher time frame buy side liquidity, and we were able to identify relative equal lows on the downside. Now we will wait for price to clear it out and get inside our macro. As you guys can see, price came all the way down, cleared out all the liquidity levels, and price is now trading inside our macro. Okay, when price was trading here, it was inside 920 to 940 macro, but there was no possible or potential breaker that formed here, right? Do you guys see it? There was no stop hunt here. There's no stop hunt here either. Price only did stop hunt at this level, and we are looking for bullish trade. So that's the reason we are waiting for price to get inside our macro, and price actually did got inside our macro here. From higher time frame, we know that our bias is bullish, so we will be looking for bullish breaker to form inside our macro. Now we are getting inside 950 to 1010 macro, and do you guys see any breaker here? Price basically cleared out the relative equal lows from here. Now we are inside our macro. Now we'll be looking for a potential setup, right? A breaker here. We do have a breaker here, the last up close candle. So let's see if price forms any potential setup here, or we'll wait for price to get inside our silver bullet macro. Okay, we are not trading inside a silver bullet randomly, but we are focusing inside one specific time period. What is it? 1020 to 1040. So price basically closed the 950 to 1010 macro. Here's nothing more to watch, so we'll be waiting for price to get inside 1020 to 1040 macro. Before we do that, can we identify any more relative equal highs? Yes, as you guys can see, we have relative equal highs up here, then up here. Ultimately we'll be targeting this relative equal high from the higher time frame. So this is our potential breaker, right? We have our low here, lower low, new lower low. Now these up close candles here are working as a potential breaker. And as you guys can see, price came, price delivered buy side liquidity, and it closed the candle's body above here, above the breaker. And look at the time right now, 1020 to 1040 inside the time period. I told you guys that a breaker will form. Just exactly I teach you that you will wait for price to close the candle's body above, and then it will execute from that, okay, at the next candle. There are other ways to execute. I also taught you guys that in our first day of bootcamp. So this is a high probability breaker. It's the price activated the breaker at 1020 to 1040, but look, price, when did price form this breaker? Before our macro started. So price can form a breaker before our macro starts, but we'll be looking at price to activate our breaker, okay, when we are trading inside a macro. And just like this, price will activate a macro, activate a breaker inside a macro like this. And as you can see, it's our silver bullet macro, 1020 to 1040. Price did close the candle's body above, and then at the next candle we execute. This is our rule, and we target minimum 2R. The max that I go is 4R, but basically I'm trading for 2 to 3R. Okay, so it was a beautiful trade that I took last week. This is the same logic that I use from the higher time frame to trade on lower time frame. Now I will take you guys on the same chart, okay, another day. As you guys can see here, this is the same breaker that we traded here on Monday, okay. Now we'll be looking at Tuesday, and price is now retracing back to this breaker. Now there are a couple of rules when price is trading back to a old breaker. We'll be using those rules, and now I'll be sharing those rules with you all. But this is a very important lecture. That's the reason I didn't share it in the first day. In our coming lecture days, I'll be talking a lot deeper about these rules. When price is passing through a breaker, we expect immediate rebalance. So price did pass from this breaker, right? Do you guys remember the second slide that I showed you guys? Price closed the candle's body above our last up close candle from this hourly chart, and then we dropped down to the lower time frame, and we traded a bullish breaker, right? So this is the same thing happened here. When price is closing a candle's body above for the first time in a breaker, we'll expect to see an immediate rebalance like this. When price is retracing, we'll also talk about that. So when price is retracing back to a previous breaker, we will expect rejection from the last bullish candle breaker. We are not expecting to see price drop a lot, but we will expect to see price rejecting or getting support from this last up close candle. Okay, that's the only candle that we'll be looking at on higher time frame. Price will be sensitive at these levels 0.75% and 0.25%. So what we will do, we'll measure the last up close candle like this, okay, and we'll be looking at 0.75 and 0.5 level, because these are premium levels. This is a premium level, this is a discount level according to the measurement of this last up close candle, and this is where price will be sensitive, and this is how I use a higher time frame breaker. Okay, I'm not looking at all the bullish candle, but I'm looking at the last up close candle. When price closes a candle's body above, then I'm looking at the immediate rebalance if price is doing that, and when price is retracing back to the breaker, I'm measuring the last up close candle and expecting a bullish breaker to form at the 0.5 level. Once I drop down to the lower time frame, you guys will see a breaker will form here. Okay, so now you guys know that when price is retracing back to an old breaker, how to trade from it. We'll measure it, then we will wait for price to get sensitive at these levels. Our high probability setup will form at 0.5% most of the time. Okay, most of the time you will see price getting back to the discount level according to the measurement of this last bullish candle, and this is where we will wait for price to form a breaker. But sometimes what price does it, like when it's trading inside here 0.75, it also does form a breaker, but our high probability is 0.5. And this theory is only applicable on higher time frame. When we are trading on lower time frame, we'll consider all of the up close candles, okay, because on lower time frame a lot of fluctuations, a lot of movement can happen, which on higher time frame is very less of the time it happens. Okay, even price is having a lot more volatility on higher time frame, we are safe. That's the reason we on higher time frame we are using the last up close candle, but on lower time frame we will be using all of these up close candles or down close candles if you are trading from a bearish breaker. So now let's look at another rule. When price is retracing back to an old breaker, okay, we'll be expecting to see high resistance liquidity run. So what do I mean by that? When price is retracing back to an old breaker, we'll expect to see price delivering in a high resistance liquidity run like this. Look at the delivery here. That's what I call a low resistance liquidity run price, because price is in a hurry to deliver liquidity to a certain level. But here price is not in a hurry. Price is just trading like in a seek and destroy mode, plus delivering with a lot of choppiness, less volatility, right? So when price is retracing back to a previous breaker, we want to see it deliver in high resistance liquidity run and generate equal high and equal low. So when price will generate equal high and equal low, it will work as a high probability target for us. We are expecting to see a reversal from this breaker, right? So we need target for that. And what can be a good target, any better target than a relative equal high or low? Relative equal high and low, folks, it works as a magnet for price. And high resistance liquidity run generates high probability target for us as we are trading with a reversal model. We are trading here with a reversal model, right? We are expecting price to reverse from certain levels with a breaker, so we need high probability target for us to execute. And I hope you guys understood. When price is retracing back to a previous breaker or an old breaker, we will expect to see price delivering in high resistance liquidity run and generate relative equal highs for us, and that will work as a strong target when we will drop down to lower time frame, and it will give us much more confidence in our trade. Like, we are not just holding randomly, we are targeting a certain price level. We want to see price going there, and it's all based on logic. I also hope that you guys understood it. If not, a deep lecture will be coming very soon in our coming trading lecture days. So now I'll take you guys on the 1 minute chart, okay? And as you guys can see, this is our higher time frame breaker, the hourly breaker that I showed you guys, and this is the measurement of the last bullish candle. And as I told you guys that a high probability breaker will form on lower time frame inside the 0.5 level from the higher time frame breaker, right? So what do you guys see here? Price is trading inside our 920 to 940 macro. This is my high probability macro. This is the highest probability macro that I use, and we have a swing low right here. Price cleared out a swing low, then we have relative last bullish candle working as a breaker here, plus we have relative equal highs here, then we have relative equal highs here, then ultimately we have a lot of relative equal highs up above this swing high, right? Near to this swing high. So we have a lot of relative equal highs resting towards buy side liquidity, and price is trading now inside the 0.5%, where we expect to see a breaker forming. So do you see now how everything is aligning with time and logic? So we have a low here, we have our last bullish candle working as a breaker here. Now we'll wait for price to close the candle's body above, and we will expect to see an immediate rebalance. Okay, when price is going through a breaker, we'll expect to see immediate rebalance. When price is retracing back to a breaker, we'll expect to see price delivering high resistance liquidity around, plus generate high probability target for us. Okay, so price cleared out the relative equal low swing low from here. This last up close candle working as our breaker, and as you can see, price closed the candle's body above the breaker inside our macro, and then this candle, when this candle opened, it came right down to the breaker, and this is what I call immediate rebalance. I already showed you guys a couple of examples in our first day of lecture, and as you can see, price did came down here. You will have enough time, folks, to execute here, or any level here when price is retracing back to our breaker inside here. Okay, and then once you execute here, your stop loss will be below the breaker. Okay, because on lower time frame we are considering all of these down up close candles as our breaker. On higher time frame we are only considering the last one. Okay, and then you will be targeting 2 hour, or if you are holding all the way up here, I believe it was a 3 hour trade that I took last week. So I hope you guys found this trade review session informative. A lot more trade reviews will come in future. This week I will drop a lot more, and plus our lecture on inversion, it was supposed to be on 24th October, and it's not gonna be happening at 24th October because I'm yet to done making a lot of templates for you all, so I'm not done yet. So I believe will be I will give you guys the lecture on inversion on 28th October. Okay, folks, you guys will just have to be patient, and I'll share these kind of jams, this kind of review videos in between this time period. So our next lecture is going to happen on 28th October at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, folks, so I'll catch you guys then, and in between I'll do a lot more reviews. Peace.